Welcome, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. You guys, today I would like to jump right into things because I need to start helping my wife. She's making a bunch of apple pies still. She's doing a bunch of stuff up there, and I still got to go grab us dinner. So I'm going to get into a lot of things today that aren't necessarily going to be directly about Friday. Now, a lot of the information that I'm talking about here will help you in your thinking on Friday, but as Thursday is technically open for some other places, we can see the implied volatility mess with. So I will be putting out a short little video, just a short video tomorrow. If I can, Patreon members, be aware that you will always get that information of the daily expected moves for Friday. But since the implied volatility will most likely change by tomorrow's trading session, I really want to make sure to give you guys the best levels I can. So in this video, we're actually going to be touching on a few topics. And the first topic that I wanted to discuss was overall going to be about the expected moves. So if you are looking for a video where I'm actually going to just discuss these moves and kind of describe them a little bit further, especially if you haven't taken the course, this would be very good to watch. And maybe this would be something that tells you, hey, I do want to learn even a little bit deeper about these expected moves so I can really trust them. So then I can utilize them for my trading. And maybe you want to go check out the course that's down in the description. Every single time around this time of the year, we run a Black November sale, and that leaks out into December. So if you would like to get that course, you can look down in the description. It is only $100. It is 90% off. We always do it at this time of the year. This is when I like to really say, hey, grab that course. It will really help you out. And we're going to go over a lot of things in these videos that go way more in depth in the course. We're going to talk about them in this video so you get a little taste of it. Now, there's a lot that goes on in there, but one of the things that we really touch on is the expected move. So in this video, we're going to talk about the expected moves. And I think for the time being, we really just want to use the monthly ones just to describe them. Now, the monthly expected moves, the weekly expected moves, the weekly expected moves here, and the daily expected moves. These are all in themselves 68% zones, right? So 68% in here. And then to land on the outside, you'll land out there about 32% of the time. Now, this is calculated using data and the time to expiration. So this is data that I calculate personally. I have a spreadsheet for it. I calculate this data myself because I don't trust other people with the calculation, and I don't trust little algorithms and things to do it for me. And that's proven to be a good thing. I've had people actually contact me and say, hey, my levels are on Thinkorswim or things like this are about $2 off of yours. And so I go, yeah, I just like to calculate it myself. And over time, people have told me that mine are a bit more precise. And I think that's just because I'm taking the due diligence, the time to calculate those levels. But that being said, you can go learn. You can learn this yourself. You can calculate them yourself. I'm not hiding that information. You can go ask literally the internet right now and figure it out. But there is going to be some loophole, some time where it's going to be difficult because you'll have to figure out the time of day to pull the implied volatility implied volatility of the time of day, but also where do I pull it from? So there's little things like that. The important thing for this video, the important thing for someone like you who's trying to learn this stuff is 32% of the time you're going to see something crazy. You're going to close out of those zones. Now, what are these overall? This is used by the options data. So this is something that you can follow for almost liquidity, for almost things like what the market maker would want to do and things like that. So what do I like to do around these levels? I like to really use them for like profit taking targets. So what I'll do is I'll see a trend like a daily expected move, right? We're about to go into the end of the month. Let's take right now into consideration. And if the daily is able to curl up into positive territory and I update these monthly expected moves, and maybe we see that the monthly expected move comes in, let's say at 720. Well, then I can say, hey, for the month of December, if I see this daily confirm up and we're already about to break through that high, and we curl up into positive territory, it's very likely, and it's actually very likely, 75% of the time you will tag these levels. So there's going to be a lot of kind of percentages that I throw out there. So I'm going to try to speak very clear about them. Hopefully you understand the first ones I gave you. According to the next one would say about 75% of the time you will see one side of these moves tagged. That will happen very often, and we've seen it a lot lately. We're also going to go into a couple other things if you are interested. We're going to go into how to use like shorter time frames for the hints. We're going to go into that a little bit, something that we cover thoroughly in that full technical analysis course. I highly encourage if you really want to dedicate yourself to some learning. I want you to spend time with family first, but if you have time this weekend to take it, that would be awesome. And then the VIX, we're going to go over the VIX and those 85% days. We're going to talk about those as well. So 75% of the time, you're going to hit one of those sides. And if you have a confirmation on the daily to the upside, which you already have on the RSI, then you would say it's very probable that we're going to touch one of these sides, and the overall momentum and the trend is pointing in that direction. So you can use it as what? A take profit target. Now, at the same time, you can also do things like use it for reversals. We actually noticed that this month we did that, and we can maybe combine what we're going to talk about in a moment to this portion right here and kind of get into that at the same time. So the other thing we would say, real quick is just risk management decisions, right? If I'm bullish and we get to this level, I have to realize that this is where I have to start to take my foot off of the gas. That means I have decisions to make. I can hold, and I have to be accountable for those decisions as a trader. If I hold on to all my positions past this line, I know that I'm dabbling in a lower percentage move. I really have to be confident in it. At this level, a lot of the time, what I like to do is I'm a full profit kind of guy. I'll leave like one or two runners. So those are the two other decisions are take full profit because, hey, we're outside of the higher probable area. And the other thing would be, leave some runners, right? If I'm like, hey, I made some good profit, I see some green, but I just want to leave some runners in case something crazy does happen. That's a decision-making area. The other thing we can use it for, though, is reversals. And we actually just did this in this month. So if you've been following this channel, we are on the SPY. If you've been following this channel for this month, then you know that we went down and we tagged that monthly expected move, and everyone kept saying crash, and we kept saying, I kind of see some things down here. So what we do in the course is talk about divergences and why those are important. We actually describe and we talk about your indicators, and we set up your charts a little bit at the beginning. But overall, we were saying, I would be cautious when you see 2-hour divergences all across your RSI when you're down at the monthly expected move. Now, we didn't have it on the MACD, but this is something you can do, is look for potential reversal signals around those monthly expected moves. And if it happens to be on the 2-hour chart, this is what we're going to get into in the next portion. The 2-hour chart is a great hint for the daily. So something I like to do here is say, okay, the daily chart, if I'm looking for hints for the daily chart, I'm going to look at the 2-hour chart. Okay, and I'm going to look for higher lows. I'm going to look for divergences. I'm going to look for that trend. I'm going to look for swing trades on the 2-hour chart to really help me out with the daily moves, okay? So we can see that by looking at the 2-hour divergence down at the monthly expected move, we are the ones who called out that this move could overall happen. That's very, very nice. So something we want to be aware of here is if we wanted to find those hints, something that I did was I back tested this, and the 2-hour chart is very good to follow if you're looking for, bigger timeline type trades, like daily swing kind of trades. All right. So if you're someone who doesn't like to do 0 DT and stuff, this is good to do. Now, if you're looking to be a little bit tighter, maybe you want to play that 2-hour chart. Well, what moves the 2-hour chart? Well, the 30-minute. So I noticed that the 30-minute is a very good indicator. It is more so one that will make triple divergences and things like that. But overall, if I'm looking for 2-hour moves, I can look for the 30-minute for hints. And look at this, we can use it again in this scenario. Down by the monthly expected move, we did see a 30-minute divergence that was able to confirm. And when that confirmed, that tells us a hint. It says, hey, watch out, the 2-hour chart is highly probable to turn up here. And since we had 2-hour divergence behind it as well, that's why you heard me shouting out, I don't think we're crashing. I think we're going to see a boom here to try to take out this high, and we have overall done that. And remember that in this video, we are going to talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will be talking about what is overall probable for Friday, because we need that implied volatility to overall update, okay? But for this, we can see how the 30-minute had what? It had a blatant divergence here on the RSI, blatant divergence on the MACD at the same time. This is actually a better signal than the 2-hour chart. This told you that the 2-hour was very likely to see a boom, at least maybe to the weekly expected move, one of our targets. And look at that, boom, take profit, you're happy, you're just sitting back and waiting for a pullback at this point. But I wanted to go over some of these things because I bet it's a lot of questions that you have watching these videos, even if you've been watching for a long time. And these are things that we talk about in that full technical analysis course. So check some of this stuff out. If you want even deeper into this, this can really help you out. One thing that I used to go into, but I noticed a lot of people can't handle it. I think a lot of people would benefit from increasing their time frames to say 30-minute charts, to say 2-hour and daily charts. I do think that based on having a YouTube channel and dealing with a lot of different people, but sometimes I will utilize the 5-minute chart for 30-minute moves. Especially if it's by a move, it has to be by a expected move. But you will notice that these 5-minute divergences, this is why you heard me say calls right in there. You do see the 5-minute divergences all piling up here. Now you will see so many of them. So there's a rule as you see the time frames decrease and decrease, right? Daily all the way down to a 5-minute. You will see daily things, you'll see some crazy things. But if you go down to a 2-hour, you'll see even crazier things. If you go to a 30-minute, expect to see more and more crazy things. And if you go to a 5-minute, yeah, you're in for a wild ride. That's where you're overall, say, maybe day trading. So I wanted to point that out. The tighter and tighter, the smaller the time frame, then the more likely you are to see crazier things more often. And that just makes total sense. There are more 5-minute bars in a day than there is 2-hour bars. So you are likely to see some crazier things. So I wanted to just go over that. I felt like it was very, very nice to have this day, and I really wanted to do this as a thank you. And I actually have one more topic to go into. So I hope that you're appreciating that I'm taking this time. I really wanted to just give some people, even if they're not willing to buy the course, I want to give you guys almost like a little piece of it, a crash course that can actually genuinely help you out based on what we're seeing here. And then if you want to go get it later on, maybe you follow for a little while, you can get it sometime in December. That's perfectly fine. The VIX, I wanted to talk about the 85% historical data because we look at volatility and we see these up and down days, and you're probably like, what the heck is this? And look at this crossing down on the daily charts. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to try my best to put out a little video, at least for Patreon members, but I'm going to try my best to put it on YouTube, guys, okay? I'm sorry that I'm speaking quickly and kind of doing this crash course, but I really don't have a ton of time. The VIX, the 85% thing. So this is based on historical data. So what I wanted to do was kind of describe it to you guys so you can really see it and understand what certain days look like, because an 85% chance for an up day, an 85% chance for a down day, these don't mean full reversals. Now they can when they have certain signals, but when you see these big days, up 10%, down 10%, those kinds of things, well, it means there's an 85% chance for a opposite day, pretty much, of what just happened in the next 2 trading sessions. So what I did was I marked off all of the readings since this area right here. Pretty much right here was our first reading. And these are all the times that VIX got it right versus all the times that VIX got it wrong so far. And you notice that VIX got it really, really right for a long time. Then we got one wrong, and it got barely wrong, like barely. VIX gets a couple more right. Now we see them get them wrong. But if you look at this, you almost see what? 85%. It's kind of crazy that happened because it could be like, a roulette wheel or something like that. But overall, this is how you really see it. And you notice this. The VIX got it right so many times that when it got it wrong, it's during a squeeze. And that will be very important during a bear market. And a lot of my course will help you in any kind of market. That's why this is called money-making market, because you can make money in any kind of market. That's the overall goal of teaching you a lot of these things. But I wanted to show you this because some of these days where it gets it right, that's a positive 1.5% day. But then the next day, it's saying you're going to get a down day, and that down day is only negative 0.16%. So I wanted to describe this to discuss how the 85% chance, it does really help you out. It helps you with your thinking. It helps you with your psychology because it really tells you, hey, maybe I should be weary of the other side just for a couple of days and things like that. But this doesn't mean that if I have an 85% chance for a down day, that I have to see an absolute bloodbath. No, we just showed you how this is an 85%. This bar right here, I know it's tight. This was on an 85% chance for a down day in the next 2 trading sessions. It's down negative 0.16 and the bar is green. Mainly, you just want to treat it like, what are the signals telling me? If I see that VIX is giving me this percentage and we have an 85% chance to see a down day, what do I see to the upside? Do I see a 2-hour divergence? Oh, that could be the start of a big down day. Do I just see a swing to the upside where we could potentially just see a pullback? and then go to the upside, well, then I might not be looking for some big moment of volatility. Okay, so I just wanted to describe a lot of these things. I wanted to get into this. I kind of was just like, I really wanted to sit down and say to everyone, have a great Thanksgiving. And I thought, what better way to say, like, I am so thankful for you guys. I am thankful for you guys getting this channel to 20K. I mean, I'm so crazy thankful for my wife for just a couple of years ago, just saying, you know, Lucas, you always say you want to help people and you really just work in the stock market. She's like, why don't you put your ideas out there? I think you genuinely could help some people. Because I was really like, I always vent to my wife and I talk about the market and I talk about things and just say, oh, it really frustrates me. It frustrates me because people read into the news, people do this, people do that, when they really do have the power within themselves. They really do have the capability to do these things, but it is just understanding what things actually help you and what don't. And so I put all of this together, everything you see on YouTube, whenever I talk on YouTube, I sit down to help people. And that is the overall goal. And I am so happy that I have been able to help so many people. I've received so many emails over the years of people who have learned so much and taken it even probably further than me. And maybe they're even better traders than me. And hats off to you. That is awesome. I am so thankful that so many people are finding help in this community. And I just hope to continue to be helpful. So whenever I sit down for a video, I always sit down and right before I start filming, I go, how could I be the most helpful? And for today, I thought the most helpful I could be is to just say a big thank you. And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving and maybe talk about some things that maybe you needed cleared up after watching this channel in all of 2025. And I'm very excited for December. I'm excited for Christmas and I'm excited for 2026 because we're going to keep doing this and we're going to keep helping as many people as we can. And I thank you so much for being subscribed to this channel. So I hope you have an absolute blessed day with your family tomorrow. I hope you tell them what you are thankful for. And I hope one of the things that you tell them you are thankful for is them, because the best thing you can do is say thank you for being you, because you are a massive part of my life. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great one. Tell the family I say hi, and I'll see you guys tomorrow if I can find a quick 20 minutes to slip away and talk about some daily moves. Okay, peace out, guys. Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. Later.